Welcome to Table Talk, where there's always room at the table. I am your host, Jonathan Harmon of the J. Harmon Home Team, and we can't wait to talk to these fine guests. Enjoy the show. Yeah. And we're live already? Okay. I guess if we have an intro, we're not supposed to talk over it, huh? Okay. So Trent just made the intro today. Hello, everybody. I'm Jonathan Harmon with the J. Harmon Home Team, powered by Keller Williams. And before we dive in, I do want to give a shout out to Mr. Brian Nail of First Horizon Mortgage. You know Brian?
Uh-huh.
I love Brian.
Yeah.
He is just one of my favorite people.
I mean, we don't know each other. It's sort of similar. I know him through my husband. So
gotcha. Well, you need to meet Brian.
Yes.
I bet I can make that happen.
Can you make it happen?
So, Brian, thank you for helping us spread the positive all the time and bring light to what's going right. So I'm just going to dive in. So I just posted on Facebook, and I just read it to you before we went on camera. I said, so I have Kara Kemp on Table Talk today. I don't know Kara very well. We've met, I think we were just counting once or twice, maybe three times.
Tops, yeah.
And but everywhere I go, I hear your name, and I hear people say, "Oh, you know Kara, right?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "What? What? How do you not know Kara?
How dare you?"
I know. So I'm like, well, I guess I need to know Kara Kemp.
Well, thanks for having Table Talk so we could finally get to get to know one another.
Finally. It's been a long time coming.
Yes. I will say likewise. It is the same with you. And Cedar Glade Brews has been a part of United We Style in the years past. And so I don't even know why we don't already really know each other and aren't best friends. But
I have no idea.
Thanks for supporting a stranger.
Here we go. Yeah, here we go. So you're going to be talking about United We Style, which is coming up
June 2nd. It's next week, next Thursday.
It's like soon.
Yes, it is so soon.
So we're going to talk about that. But I want to know about you a little bit and how you did you grow up in Murfreesboro? Like, tell me your story and why it is that I need to know you.
Well, lucky for you, I'm a storyteller.
I love it. Let's Trent, get me a beer.
That's right. Get me a beer. So I did grow up in Murfreesboro, actually just outside of in Beech Grove, Tennessee. So I grew up on a big old farm, the youngest of nine.
Of nine.
Wow. My father was hoping for free labor, but he forgot that you have to feed us. So
it's not really free,
breaking even. But we had a big old farm out there in Beech Grove, and both of my parents were teachers, and they taught here in Rutherford County. So I did. I was a graduate of Riverdale High School, hotel motel, went out into the world and
ain't no place like River Smell.
Hey-o, watch yourself. But yeah, so I went off for school and then went out into the world for a couple of decades and then came back. But I've had an eclectic career.
And where did you go to school?
I went to UT Knoxville.
I see. Before you left, did you buy something at Davis Market? Is that why you came back?
Yes. Yeah, I had to return it.
Well, no, it's the center of the universe, remember?
Yes.
And if you bought something at Davis Market, you'll always come back to Murfreesboro.
I was going back to beer. I was probably buying some underage beer. Don't tell anybody.
That may or may not have happened on this side of the table.
Yeah, say yo. But yeah, so I went out. I had majored in theater. I gave up on my environmental engineering career scholarship, which my father was really excited about.
I bet.
And went into, liberal arts. And
because that's where you can make all the money.
It is. It's where all the money lives and all the passion. And so had a career of managing a theater company. And then went to LA, did some tours with bands, doing catering on the road, and then landed back here to be based out of Nashville when a lot of country tours were like, I want to finally eat some good food.
Yeah.
And then I became the GM of Tangerine Salon and Spa shortly after that.
Oh,
so
that's
right over on Thompson Lane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I've been there for 10 years. I was only going to be back here for like 2. And then Murfreesboro just suckered me right back in.
It does that.
I love it.
Yeah. So every time I drive past that place, I think of the Flaming Lips song.
Yes.
Do you know the song?
I do.
Yeah.
And played it for one of the very first
power go? Oh,
Oh, hi.
what'd you do, man?
So he's not going to tell.
He's not going to tell.
It was
Well, don't let it happen again.
I'm really so mad at you.
That's all right. We're better now. So anyway, Flaming Lips song, Tangerines.
So for one of Tangerine, the first United We Style, I played that on the runway, and so yes, it all comes full circle. Thank you for bringing it back.
I love it. Well, I was a big Thunder 94 guy when I was in high school. That was my favorite station, and they played a lot of Flaming Lips on there.
Thunder 94.
Yeah, you remember them?
I don't.
No, it was the sister station to Lightning 100.
Oh.
So it was like adult contemporary and alternative and grunge before 1029 switched over.
Nice. Well, thank you. Thank you for that pullback.
It's good stuff.
So I'm going to assume that you were at Oakland.
No, I am a Smyrna boy.
You are a Smyrna boy. Of course you are.
That's why I hate Riverdale so much, because they beat us all the time.
No,
all the time.
We were on quite a roll when I was there.
Bless our hearts. Bless our bodies. We got abused, man. It was not pretty. Coach Rankin, I'm looking at you, buddy. Yes. It was
Coach Rankin came in right in my freshman year.
Gotcha.
So it was quite an exciting time.
It was, and he was instantly successful at recruiting. Anyway,
I'm not qualified. Again, I refer back to my liberal arts education, so I'm not qualified for Sporty Spice conversation.
I understand. No problem. We'll skip that. We'll move on. So, all right. So let's do this real quick. What is United We Style?
United We Style is a fundraiser for United Way of Rutherford and Cannon counties. It is a hair show, storytelling, live music event. What?
Okay,
yeah,
hang on a
right.
second. Say that one more time.
Yeah, that's right. Wrap your brain around it.
I'm trying. You lost me at hairstyling at first. And I was like, oh, well, I'm out.
You're like, I don't care about that.
Can you do something with my beard?
Yes, they can.
Yeah.
So we put storytellers and a live band and hairstylists all on stage together. We give them a theme, and then everybody creates their own based around that theme. So it's kind of like...
So it's like a competition?
Well, it is a little bit of a competition, but it is more of a multimedia art weaving is what it is. All for a good cause.
So we have a theme.
So
we have a storyteller. We have a hair person and a hair recipient.
Yes. So
and they tell a story with the hair.
Yes, exactly. So we will have our theme this year is excuse me. It's golden, inner golden moments. We're playing on this Tinseltown Hollywood glamour feel because it's the 10th year that we're doing it. So we wanted to celebrate. So
how have I never been to this?
I mean,
I am so intrigued right now.
It's because it's the hairstyling. It threw you off, and you're like, it's not for me. And
I'm just going to go there and be jealous.
Well, and speaking of tables, like everyone is welcome at this table.
Even bald people.
Even bald people. Jim McCarroll, leader of Tangerine, 22 years, slinging great hair, nary a one on his head.
Yeah, it happens. It started actually about 22 years old is when it started. And I just said, you know what? As my grandma has since, what's the word? Comforted me with, she has said, Jonathan, God made so many perfect heads and the rest he put hair on.
What a good grandma.
She's the best. She is the best.
Such a support. Well, you do have a very nice head.
Well,
so
thank you. I appreciate that.
Share it.
Yeah.
Shine it up.
Trust me. Unless I wear a hat, I have no choice. If I didn't, it would be Friar Tuck all the way. You know?
Oh, that's fun. It's fun.
Fun is not really the word that I was thinking.
I'm sorry. Yes, I understand.
That's all right.
So we went down a rabbit hole, but yes.
We did.
So everyone has a theme. They put it all up on stage together. It's not really a competition, though we do have a little bit of one in that we ask the audience to use our very official clap-o-meter guide at the end of the evening.
I've seen those. Those are very, very official.
Yes, yes. Dempsey Van Treese is going to come in and mark all the claps. And 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 so the stylist who styles most on theme and audience reacts to it, they'll go home with a lovely trophy. But that's about it on our competition.
I mean, that is if there's a trophy, there's a competition.
That's true. Well,
does everybody get a participation trophy?
No.
Then by God, it's a competition. I mean, officially, that is a competition.
They get a thank you, and that's yes.
Maybe a little pat
no
on the
awards.
bottom.
You need to go get out there and style that hair.
Yeah,
you did so good.
I love it. So, but you're okay. So this is coming up June 2nd next week. It's going to be a big deal. Where's it at?
It is at the phenomenal Walnut House.
I was just at the Walnut House last week serving beer.
Amazing. So
Ricky, I bumped into Ricky at Lowe's yesterday, and he was trying to figure out how to hang some barn doors.
Well, that is fortunately not for us. I'm glad to know that someone else is out there running them around, because he makes that space look
he's awesome.
Phenomenal.
Yes.
So we are able to immerse the entire audience in 285 degrees of projections, right? And so it's really an immersive experience for this. And
it's actually going to happen, unlike the Van Gogh thing that took forever to happen.
Yes, it's true. Yeah, we won't just keep pushing it off. Wait, hold on. It's a scavenger hunt for Van Gogh. Find his ear and you'll find it.
Maybe. Yeah, if you're lucky. So, all right. So that one's coming up. It's a fundraiser for United Way. You guys have done it. This is the 10th one.
Yeah.
So obviously it's been successful.
Yeah.
Tell me, just for my own purposes and anybody that's watching, what does the United Way actually do? So, because that's an interesting answer.
Yeah. So they are an umbrella of many different projects that are out there in our community. But one of the things I love the most is that funds that are raised locally stay local. And so they are an extension of Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. So they help facilitate getting the Books to Birth program out there. There is a community baby shower where they help new mothers that need supplies, mothers or fathers, I should say. We had a great storyteller one year who was a dad, a single dad, but they make sure that they get the supplies they need. They do things like help people get their taxes filed, and they have a volunteer tax program that they will help people get their taxes filed, which is a very important part of, if you get behind on that, it's a pain in the,
Yes. Well, and it's hard to recover.
They have their Stuff the Bus campaign, which helps backpacks and school supplies to kids that might not necessarily be able to get it. So there's quite a lot that the United Way branches out into our community to be able to do and to support. So it's what has been nice to partner with. It's like, that one, it's staying local, but there's so many other so many branches that it's reaching out to.
I think that's huge. I was not aware that that they go to so many great lengths to keep the local fundraising funds local. Did I say that right? I think I said that right. Okay. I got confused. It was like two words, but they were several times. Yeah.
Locals.
And so with this event that you guys have done, I mean, how much have you guys raised over the last 9 years, going on 10?
So we are probably at right around $87,000 that we've been able to raise and put.
Hey, I served that one up for you, buddy.
You did. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So hopefully this year we'll be able to. Yes.
Let's do it.
Come on, six figures.
It's all on you guys.
It is on you. It is, because the show is paid for. We just need you to come see the show, and all of that money goes directly to United Way.
That's so awesome. Who are some of the sponsors of the event?
So we have a Spread the Positive. Maybe you've heard of them. I've
heard of them.
Yes.
Those are those, that one really handsome bald dude.
Yes.
Again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're out there like telling people stories.
They are. They're keeping the light on what's going right.
That's it. I love it.
But we partnered with the fabulous, also from Smyrna, Missy Lay with Wild Goose Chase Events.
Went to high school with her.
Yeah.
Love me
Yes.
some Missy Lay. She's awesome.
Yours truly is a sponsor. Tangerine Salon and Spa, of course. Get them roped into everything around town.
As you should.
Grumpy's Bail Bonds is
Yes.
also a dedicated 10-year sponsor. That's what happens when you're related to me. And
That makes sense. You don't get a choice, or else Thanksgiving tastes funny.
You really don't.
Yes.
Redstone Federal Credit Union, Dana Womack at State Farm, Fran and Chase Salas, Ronnie and Cynthia Martin.
You got an all-star cast there.
We really do. And
yeah.
And the beauty is it has everyone from just individuals to businesses in town, and all of them have their eye on local support. So
that's very cool. So what can somebody expect when they show up?
Well, this year we're going to be literally rolling out the red carpet. I know. I shouldn't gloat. I shouldn't. I'm sorry. But we'll be rolling out the red carpet with the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and we'll have some look backs to some of our participants in the past. We have Uncle Nearest and some delicious Cedar Glade brews served up with the Alley on Main is dishing out the food.
Nice.
And we have some poets on hand who will be conversing with people and turning their conversations into live art. Hello.
Really?
You are welcome. That's right.
That's very cool.
Corey Wells and her band of poets from Poetry in the Borough are going to be on hand to add a little extra.
Do you have paparazzi on the red carpet?
Yes. Hello.
You're going to stick Frank on the carpet?
We're going to stick Frank, also known as Trent Ensign, into the red carpet.
Outstanding.
Yes.
Outstanding.
So we really do have all of Murfreesboro's favorites on hand for this event.
I love it. I love it. All right. So let's talk about some other stuff that you do.
Oh, my goodness.
Because, I mean, I know it's not just this.
It isn't.
Because this is great, but just this wouldn't get everybody telling me that I need to meet you.
No, you wouldn't create these bags underneath these size.
I can relate to that. So what other kind of things are you involved with?
So I am a wearer of many hats. So I am still the general manager out at Tangerine Salon and Spa, where we're, doing hair and providing services on a regular basis. But I also have a coaching business, Kara Kemp Coaching, where I will coach businesses, but also coach individuals into knowing their story better so that they can really focus their business.
Tell me more about that. You piqued my interest. So telling their stories from a marketing perspective, or understanding their story so they can just be better at their jobs. I mean,
yes,
all of the above.
All of the above. So the beauty of my life is the eclecticness part of it. I have been able to see many different ways of how you run a business. So there are some people that are entrepreneurs that really just need to hone their story so that they can market themselves better and hit the right audience for what they do.
Sure.
But there are some people, such as Tangerine is a great example, who, when I came into Tangerine, it was like 10 years into their existence, and they'd reached a space where they felt like they were plateauing, and they wanted to really understand their culture better, to be able to work more efficiently, but also to be more true and authentic to who the culture of their company was.
Well, it's easy for someone to, especially over a period of time, to forget the passion of why they started, and to lose the culture that they wanted, that fire in the belly kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can totally relate to that. And as entrepreneurs, we go through those dips,
and you get tired, right? Like you're hustling so hard to just keep the vision of what your mission is.
And at some point you go,
what am I doing?
Why am I doing this again?
Right.
Hang on a second. I haven't slept in 3 days, and I haven't seen my kids in 5.
Yeah. So all of the above. Like, the range of people that I coach some are people that are just individuals that are interested in mining their story because they're just trying to figure out what the next step is. But I get to work with some companies who are really just trying to sharpen their culture A lot of times, if someone is at a peak of changing, making some kind of transition, they want someone to come in who has fresh eyes and can
Mhm.
say, this is what we think we are, but this is what we think our story is, and can you help us put it all together?
Yeah,
And
kinda reconcile that.
mhm,
And this is where we started, and
mhm,
this is where we think we are. This is where I really wanted to be,
mhm.
and somewhere we've deviated.
Yeah. And from living it, like once you get in the middle of it, it's just not always easy to pull out
Takes its own mind.
yeah. And so it is a fun vantage point to be in, and keeps me on my toes. From that and from that story work, I have also developed what I call the Bloom Stage, which is a quarterly similar to United We Style, and it really was birthed out of putting United We Style up as this fundraiser.
Mhm.
It was the idea of, okay, well, can you put all of these elements together and make something that's interesting to people? And United We Style really hit on the heart center for people. It was connecting people and through story.
Mhm.
So with Corey Wells, who has Poetry in the Burrow, she and I had co-created the Bloom Stage, which is storytelling, music. There's usually a visual art component and poetry as well, all into a theme on a quarterly basis that we also do at the Walnut House.
Really?
Hmm.
How have I never heard of that?
I know, and
What is wrong with
we're
me?
finishing up our 4th year. Well, here's what's wrong with you. You are also a man who is busy about town running a couple of businesses, and you don't have the time.
Yeah.
You ain't got the
So
time.
I don't. So let me. You touched on something that really spoke to me, and that is when I was at MTSU. I was in the honors department at that time. It was before the honors college existed there, and every spring semester they did a poetry slam,
Mhm.
and they put a big old tent up in Walnut Grove, and everybody got paint stir sticks, and you would either snap or you'd tap them on the back of the chair, and never clap at one of those kind
I
of
know.
things. It
Mm-mm.
just totally ruins
Mm-mm.
the vibe. And they had a guy with a bass, and they had some other musician as well, and it was old school, like beatnik style beret, sunglasses in the dark. I mean,
That's so fun.
for hours, Kara. I mean, we're talking like we would sit there. There may or may not have been some little packages of things that people would consume,
Mm.
you know,
To keep them there for hours.
hours, like 4, 5, 6 hours. They were
Wow.
they were magical. I mean, magical.
Uh-huh.
And I've always wanted to recreate that somehow. And I've always wanted to be part of that. I mean, some of the poetry was the dumbest stuff you've ever heard in your life, but it was awesome
Right.
in the moment,
Yeah.
you know?
And that is that collective community of being able to like put people in a room together and just listen to each other.
Yeah,
That's the magic,
it
right?
is
Like just the gift of someone listening to you and turning
being
their
heard.
attention. Yes,
Who
is
everybody
huge.
wants to be heard.
It is so true.
Yeah,
It
and I
is.
mean, some of it was poetic, some of it was harsh
Mhm.
and almost cruel in its own way. Some of it was disjointed, but I
Yeah.
mean, isn't that kind of how we live?
It's exactly how we live. And when you get that opportunity to, what I love with the arts is that you get an opportunity to see all of those pieces raw, funny, vulnerable, and but you can use the guise of metaphor or
Yeah, I'm
and
just kidding.
right sarcasm,
Right.
but you can see it in a different light and accept it and get a little bit closer to it or get a little bit more curious about
Yeah.
it and really learn something.
Yeah. Or you use it for the opposite and you present it in such a way where there's no choice but to reject.
Right.
And sometimes that irony, if you will,
Hmm.
of I'm going to stand here and say all of this stuff in order for you to learn no.
Right.
I'll never I this was, this would have been in 98,
Okay.
maybe somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And that was the first time that I ever really, really came face to face with a blatant, like ugly, in your face racism.
Wow.
And it was an African American gentleman saying
Yeah.
from that podium
Uh-huh.
all the things that he had interacted with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So him presenting that, and I mean, everybody was uncomfortable. I mean,
Right.
everybody was, and I mean, like physically uncomfortable, squirmy in your seats, uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it was so powerful because it was like, how could we not reject it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like, I mean, and you can hear some of that stuff, and you can, you know, nothing that he said was unique, right?
Mhm.
Nothing that he said was stuff that I hadn't heard before. But in that moment, from that person,
Yeah. So
I'm still talking about it 20
right.
whatever years later, you
And
know?
what a gift that you were given to be able to sit in that room and do that, because you are still talking about it. So for me, what I love about being a storyteller is that story creates space, and it creates more space than it takes up.
Mm-hmm.
So what they did for you was they made all that space that you're still thinking about and ruminating on.
I hadn't even
And
thought about it. And then all of a sudden it just like all kind of came back,
yeah,
you know?
and it's cool. It is just, it's the Bloom stage. Everyone that we do, it builds on that feeling of community and connection, and somebody leaves thinking about something in a perspective that they had not thought about before. And sometimes it's painful, but all the good growth, it never comes from being content and happy. It only comes from when the shit gets stirred up. Can I say that word on here?
You just did, and we're good with it.
Sorry, guys.
I'm cool. But I mean, but that's true, right? You don't grow out of complacency.
No, you really don't. So that's nice. It's that apparently probably not there anymore, but it is happening in different forms.
Yeah.
Poetry in the Borough is, I can't be an advocate enough for the openness that they create for their space and stage for anybody to come and share a story or share a poem, or even like a small something they've just been writing on. I've seen people walk up there with a journal entry, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that has come over into the Bloom stage, where we have, half of our tellers are people that know they're going to be speaking and have performed before and sometimes do it professionally. But the other half are people that have never recited a poem out loud ever, or told a story out loud. And it's amazing to watch that growth.
That's very cool. And I love the name too. Like there's so much going on there, isn't there?
There's so much.
It's so simple, but yet so not.
It's the story of my life.
Yeah.
Simple,
I love that.
but not.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I feel better already.
Good. I feel like we're starting to know each other.
This is
Thank
fantastic.
You. Yeah. I feel like we're going to be good friends.
I think it's possible. I gotta figure out how to get to some of these events. That's what needs to happen.
Well, I mean, it sounds to me as though you could probably tell a story, or maybe even work on
I'm
a
painfully
poem.
shy though when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Painfully
shy.
I don't know, man. I can talk.
Uh-huh.
But then I don't know that I can speak.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe I'll find you a storytelling coach who can help mine that out of you.
Maybe. I don't get embarrassed in front of crowds, but I also don't do the whole like opening up, getting vulnerable thing very well.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Well, that's what metaphor is for.
Yes. Yeah, there you go. All right. So what other kind of things? I know you're also involved with the Center for the Arts, right?
Well, I've done a few things with Center for the Arts.
Mm-hmm.
So as a theater major, when I moved back here, I started doing more things with Murfreesboro Little Theater, but I'm a supporter of all theater across the board.
I saw your name on something though.
Yeah.
Recently.
I mean, I'm always either donating either time or something to like the Backstage Bash and because they just had that recently.
Yeah, like last week or this past weekend.
And Tangerine is a big supporter too. So between the two of us, we we do a lot of things. But yeah, so I do theater when I can. I am in my other life in another space. My husband and I have a home in historic Rugby, Tennessee, which is also a nonprofit, and we spend a lot of time.
Wait, the city is a nonprofit, or your house is?
The village is a nonprofit because it's not big enough to be a city.
Where is that? Well, I'm speechless.
You look at us.
I know.
Hello. So historic Rugby is a small village on the Cumberland Plateau.
Mhm.
It sits if you went directly north from in between Cookville and Crossville,
Mhm.
about an hour and a half, you would run into Rugby, Tennessee.
Okay.
There are a total of about 75 people that live there. Half of them live there half of the time, but there is a settlement that was formed in the 1880s by a man named Thomas Hughes, who was one of the precursors to children's literature. He was one of the forefathers of children's literature.
Mhm.
And he had wanted to make this settlement in Rugby to be a place for second sons to own land, because second sons in England could only be teachers or be not priests, but preachers. And
Clergy.
clergy, thank you.
Mhm.
And so he wanted them to be able to have land and have this utopian village. And in 1881, they set out to build this village. And the second sons of England were terrible at farming and doing other things besides playing like croquet and badminton. And it just didn't go over very well. And then there was a plague and whatever. And but there were all of these original structures that survived. There were like 21 original structures. And back in the late 60s, a young man, all of 16, was riding his bicycle through, and he decided, I'm going to save these buildings. It's important to history. And I mean, I don't know what you were doing at 16, but I most definitely was not starting a nonprofit and
No.
trying to preserve 21 original historic buildings.
No.
I wasn't. Unless you call that cruising around with some Pepe Lopez.
Yeah, I was going to say, no, we don't want to talk about what I was doing at 16.
Yeah. So anyway.
Or 17
yes.
or 18.
Or
really
40, whatever. I
Yeah.
don't know. So 50 plus years ago, this young man started a nonprofit to preserve the history of these buildings, and it still exists today.
That is
So
awesome.
mhm.
So do you buy into the nonprofit? Like, how do you acquire one of the houses?
So the houses are themselves.
Okay.
They're some of the original houses in individuals own, but then there are I want to say there are 8. I can't remember. I'm sorry, but there are a dozen at least of the original buildings that are cared for by the nonprofit.
Interesting.
So people can donate to this nonprofit. Most of them spend a lot of their time just helping keep them up or being a part of the docents that lead tours through them or host events.
So do you tour your house? Do you lead tours in your house? Or?
Sometimes. My biggest contribution is fun. So I host a big adult summer camp in the middle of summer that brings a lot of new people and fresh perspectives into the summer camp. But it's a perfect, like, it's so quiet and it's so peaceful. So you can just enjoy it in old school summer camp style.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. So what do you guys spend part of your time up there and live there, or do you Airbnb it, or what do you do?
Yes and yes. So we get up there about once a month, and the rest of the time we Airbnb our home. And there are some other people that have been like, "Hey, that's pretty fun. Let's share Rugby." And so there are actually a few people that Airbnb their places now. But there's also lodging in some of the original buildings. There's a Newberry house that had been the boarding house when they were originally building, and you can go there and spend the night. And it is
so cool. Trent, did you know anything about Rugby, Tennessee? Just from her. Okay. I was going to say, he shook his head yes. I was like, you're lying. You're not even from the state.
Sounds like there's a road trip in the making.
I think so. I think we need to do Spread the Positive from Rugby, Tennessee.
Yes.
I think that would be fantastic.
Look, we can do a bloom stage with Spread the Positive, and we'll get music and we'll get storytellers, and we'll broadcast it, and maybe we could get somebody to donate some beer or something. I don't know.
I know a guy that might do that. Yeah,
it could be fun.
It could be. It definitely could be. Do they have internet in Rugby?
They have high fiber cable, like in the middle of nowhere. This space, like, it has, because of the Obama initiative to bring connection to rural communities.
They have better internet than we have here.
Yes. I have people that remote from there.
Yeah.
because it's better.
Somehow I'm not surprised at all, actually. That's funny.
Mhm.
All right. Well, Kara, what else do we need to know about you?
Gosh, I mean, I feel like we spilled most of the beans today. There's a
A lot of beans
whole lot
got
of beans
spilled.
in that bag.
Yeah, kind of all over the table. It's great.
No, you should know that I kid that I was only coming back for a couple of years, but I sure am grateful that I stayed for longer.
Sure.
It's been a real honor to meet people like you and Trent, Missy, and just a ton of people that are doing such good, cool things out here in the community. Things that are engaging and engage the heart and the head all together. So
Yes, well said. All right, so I always close like this. What is something that Murfreesboro doesn't have that it needs?
oh, I didn't study for this exam.
That's why I asked. Pop quiz.
All right. So, what I feel like Murfreesboro needs is a mid-level stage. It needs a stage that could also be a nonprofit-ish, where there are lots of organizations that need a stage, and they don't have one.
You
That
mean
would,
a physical stage?
an actual stage, a space where they could do events
Mhm.
that is like 200, 300 people, that can also feel pretty intimate, but also have some diversity to it.
Mhm.
I feel like I've run into a lot of people that are like, my event's growing and I need a bigger space, but I don't have a space to go to.
Right.
So I feel like it needs a space like that.
Okay. You guys heard it. Get on it.
Do it. Get down on it.
Call her when you get it done.
Yeah. I got a lot of people to tell you they'll be ready.
Fantastic. Well, I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate all that you do in our community, and I really appreciate your energy. I'll be honest, I was a little bit kind of like, today, whatever.
It's a Tuesday.
You did great.
Thank you.
So thank you for being on with us. If you guys are looking for anything real estate related, give me a shout. If you're looking for anything mortgage related, give Brian a shout. Rates are going kind of crazy right now. The whole market's kind of going crazy. It's a lot of volatility. It's an interesting time. So don't do it on your own. Give us a call. And I mean, you might listen to us and think we're totally full of garbage, and that's fine if you want to think that. But at least get some advice, right?
Yeah.
Be like me trying to grow hair. I need to get some advice on doing that. Don't just start buying products. It would be bad.
That's right. You'd be a sucker.
Yeah,
don't be a sucker. Talk to them.
Burns and all kinds of stuff on my head. But anyway, so I guess that's it. We got the Nourish Food Bank Luau coming up. If you haven't signed up for that, go do that. That's actually at my house.
Oh, nice.
So I'm pretty excited about that. I was just talking with LaDonna a few minutes ago. We've got the
United We Style.
Sorry, I went blank for a second. Coming up even sooner. So very soon. Trent, what else is going on? Anything fun? You got anything for Spread the Positive coming up? Do what? June 21st? Okay, I just didn't hear the date. June 21st, we'll have another Spread the Positive event over in the Cedar Glade Tap Room. Other Cedar Glade stuff, we've got live music tomorrow with Jeff Lecision. Have you ever met Jeff?
No.
He's so much fun.
Okay.
He plays the crowd so well, and he's just guy on his guitar. Yep, he's awesome.
Okay.
He would be a blast.
All right.
For you. So I'll make that introduction if you like.
Do.
And then Thursday we got Singo. So food trucks start tomorrow all the way through Saturday. We got some really good ones coming this week.
Nice.
So, Kara, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys have a good rest of the week. We'll talk to you again real soon.